This is going to be a multi-part series on how we do peritoneal dialysis manuals and otherwise known as CAPD. Stay tuned and see what it's all about. Okay, while I'm filling, I'm going to show you a little trick that I've learned over the years. That rubber cap from the patient fill and drain line on the manual bags, it's really convenient when it comes to the mini caps, because if you look at the mini caps, there's a betadine on the inside, and sometimes when you just toss that away, it splatters everywhere, it's kind of messy, it's hard to clean. So what I do is take this little rubber gig, plug it into the old mini cap. That way it provides a seal. It doesn't drain and drip everywhere. You can see here there's a little bit of dripping, so I can sort of wipe that off on my little drop cloth here, clean that up before I toss it. But that creates a seal, so when I toss it in my garbage can, or if I miss it and drop it on my carpet, it actually does not do anything to mess things up as much. Okay, so that's one of my little hacks here for you in terms of reusing these. Again, some people take these pieces and make our projects. You're welcome to do that as well. So, okay, I filled my solution. I let it dwell. Obviously, it's been edited. It takes a little bit of time for it to fill in my system, and whatever my prescription time is, or your prescription time is, to dwell in your peritoneal cavity before it gets drained and come back out. Now we're going to talk about disconnecting safely. Again, after all this, while you're filling and draining and dwelling, you're welcome to watch TV or do anything you want. Some people actually disconnect before they do the drain while the fluid's in your solution dwelling, because it could be 1 hour, it could be 4 hours, depending on your subscription for manuals. And so people can walk away. So here's how I disconnect. Again, before I do anything, I'm going to sanitize my hands because I'm still disconnected. I can't get to the bathroom, so I'm going to sanitize my hands again. Again, just something you get used to and get into practice. Make sure the sanitizer is dry all over your hands before you touch anything else, okay? So before I disconnect, I have my manual caps that are ready. There's 2 of them here on the counter, so I pre-open it just a little bit without taking it out, okay? But it's in reach, easy access. Again, I'm using my left hand because I use my right hand to hold my PD catheter and transfer set since it's on my right side. So I use my left hand for everything else. So it's just something you need to practice and get used to. A lot of times they do that during training to make sure and look for if you're cross-contaminating, crossing your arms and different things that cause contamination, or maybe touch different surfaces that might make you drop things or cause peritonitis on yourself. So you don't want to do that. So I still have my mask on. So now the next thing I do is make sure the fill line is clamped, drain line is clamped, and when it's clamped, you have the connector here that fits. There's a little circle that fits on the tube, so it clamps it together. And then when you hear that click, that's when you know it's fully clamped and closed. And then the next thing I want to do is go ahead and close my PD transfer set clamp as well, and make sure that's tight. So now that it's tight, all my 3 clamps are pulled together, okay? I can disconnect. So disconnecting, again, I hold the transfer set with my right hand, and then the left hand holds the drain line and so forth. You would turn, disconnect. You carefully take your mini cap without touching anything else, and then safely put it together. Now when you disconnect this patient line here, the drain line, you just let it drop, okay? This mini cap, I'm actually not going to use because now I'm breathing all over and waving around the air. It's unsanitary, and that's why I have a second one ready to go all the time. But if you do it fairly quickly, there's less contaminate chances. You carefully just put it against your transfer set without looking at cameras or being distracted at TV. Make sure you turn those things off. Again, if you have a fan on, turn that off, less contamination in the air, and then you have new clean seal with the betadine that safely secures your transfer set. Okay, so towards the end, once you drain out your solution, I didn't drain everything out just yet. I just did a quick fill for the video. But usually if I fill for 2 liters, I should get at least 2 liters back out. This is where I check my bag to see if I finished draining. Again, I only did a partial fill and partial drain, so it's pretty quick. I take my spring scale and make sure all the clamps are in place. On the Baxter bags at the bottom here, this is your patient drain line connection here. And you could tell if it's still draining. And if you lift it up on the bag here, if it's still draining, you're gonna see little drips coming down this bag here. So that's why there's two different sides. One side is a little bit clearer than the other. You don't see that draining because I've already finished draining. I attach my spring scale bag again on the Baxter bag. The downside has a little hook as well. So that allows me to check on my spring scale what the volume is that's been drained out, and to make sure I have enough drained out that I'm not retaining any of the solution. And then also, if I have a log sheet and your clinic has a log sheet for you on the manual drains, you write that down, what the volume is that you put in, what volume you took out, the difference between the volume taken out and fill volume. For example, if I fill with 2,000 and I drain out 2,100, that means I drained out more solution than what I put in, which is what you want. Okay, you want to be equal or greater than what you put in. That way you're not retaining fluid. And when it's greater than what you put in, that extra 100 is your UF or ultrafiltration. So that difference is a positive UF of 100. If you have negative, for example, that you put in 2,000 and only have 1,900, then you have a negative 100 UF. So I hope that makes sense. If not, click on this other video here above that talks more about ultrafiltration, and we'll explain that a little bit more in detail for you. However, that's the basic concept of UF when you do manual drains, and then how to check when you're done draining. So now again, I'm ready to disconnect, so I'm going to put my mask back on, clamp everything, do the drain, put it in my new mini cap, and then I'm going to take the finished drain solution over to the sink and get everything dumped out. Hope you enjoyed this part of the series on peritoneal dialysis CAPD manuals. Stay tuned for other future vlogs on other parts of the CAPD process. If you have any questions or concerns, go ahead and comment down below. If this is the first time you're joining me at Kidney Journeys, hit the like button and also click on the little bell so you get notification on future vlogs that come out. Thanks for joining me at Kidney Journeys. My name is Kyle Chang.